WQMC Radio, my name is Gary Younger.
My name is Soep.
This is the fifth quarter, 718-997-3986 or 3987 if you'd like to call in. Check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/fifth quarter, Twitter handle at WQMC5THQ. That's WQMC 5th And check out the website, thefifthquarter.org. A lot of great articles up there. Right now, let's get into the NFL from this week and even last week. Let's talk about the conditions on the field. It's been bad. It's really just been awful.
We've had bad rain, we've had bad winds affecting play altogether. Quarterbacks aren't throwing as much. You got to run the ball more effectively. Offenses that don't have the run game, it's affecting them badly. Then you've got teams with sort of an advantage that are playing inside a dome, that are playing on the West Coast. And we see it go back and forth throughout the NFL. And we saw it on par, on face, front and center on Sunday night when you had the Patriots and the Broncos in Foxborough. Peyton Manning, been a dome quarterback for almost his entire career, finally goes out to Denver in the cold for a good amount of the year, but it's not as bad as Foxborough in November and December and January when you usually have the snow. It wasn't as bad on Sunday night, but the winds were there, and you could see it affecting the gameplay. Peyton Manning, through the overtime and everything altogether, he was 19 for 36, 150 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Doesn't sound like Peyton Manning at all. Sean Moreno had to run the ball the entire game, and he did a fantastic job altogether. Credit to him.
37 carries for, I believe it was 227 and a touchdown, and it cost him because now he's on crutches with the reporting is a very bad bone bruise. But absolutely, and you look at all the games this week. Throws were awful, off target, wobbly. Payne couldn't throw a spiral on Sunday night if his life depended on it. And that was sheerly because of the weather. Look, if you want a game that signified all of that in a perfect package, look, not even this week. Last week, when the Bears played the Ravens and then the tornado came through and they paused the game for 2 hours, that wasn't a football game. That was a war. It was muddy. There were literally trenches in the middle of the field.
Sounds like FedEx Field.
Pretty much. It was an all-out battle out there. And it depends, because sometimes it makes for entertaining games. For example, the Chicago-Baltimore game, that was an entertaining game to watch. It ended up going to overtime. People were, falling. But it was sloppy, but it was a very fun game to watch. Sunday night might have been the game of the year. It was a fun game to watch.
Yeah, but when you watch this game, you're paying to see Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. You're not paying to see Sean Moreno versus Brandon Bolden, Stephen Ridley, Shane Vereen.
Well, hold on. Tom Brady was the reason, a case in point, why the Patriots won the game. He went 30.
Two halves. It was incredible to watch the 2 halves.
He went 34 of 50 to end the game. Brady's throws were still pretty good. Brady wasn't that bad. Peyton was the problem. He threw 17 of 35. I think it was a $175.
$150.
$150. Two touchdown pick.
But okay, he's running on a bad ankle. Worse weather than he's dealt with in his career in general. Tom Brady has been bred for bad weather situations like this his entire career. Hasn't played anywhere else. So you gotta wonder if that element plays into the game. Now that ties into the big controversy at the end of the game, because obviously there's always got to be a big controversy in some game that we're talking about. Going into overtime. Well, first off, first half, all about the Broncos, their offense, Patriots fumbling, Tom Brady, Stephen Ridley, Broncos capitalized. They take a big lead going into the half, I believe. What was the score at halftime? It was 24-0. Second half, all about the Patriots. They get a pick off of Peyton Manning. They capitalize. They score 31 points at the end of the half. And Denver had scored a touchdown in the fourth quarter, so they were all knotted up at 31. Going into overtime, Patriots win the coin flip. They have the choice between getting the ball or kicking or choosing which direction that they want the field. Most people don't even know you have this option in Madden. Bill Belichick decides to kick into the wind, or with the wind. He's kicking with the wind so that when the Broncos have the ball, they have to kick. If they kick a field goal, they have to kick into the wind. Do you agree with the move of going with the wind over taking the ball in overtime? first team that scores if the first team with the ball scores a touchdown, they win. If they kick a field goal, other team gets the ball.
So here's the thing. I'm watching this game. I'm on the phone with my mom, who's a diehard Patriots fan. I'm on the phone with her, and they call it. And I, on the phone, go silent and say, that was genius. Absolutely 100%. I love that move.
Wow.
And here's why. They didn't just say, all right, we'll kick. They picked which way to defend, and they knew Peyton could not throw the ball in this game. I don't think he threw two spirals the whole game.
Where do you draw the line between confidence and arrogance? Because I think that was arrogant.
No.
I think it was ill-advised and arrogant.
No, because Bill Belichick does not get arrogant.
Okay, if the move works, we're calling Bill Belichick a freaking genius.
And guess what? It worked.
If it doesn't, we're calling him Marty Mornhinweg.
I think that's a stretch. I agree with the move, even if it doesn't work. And here's why. You can get the ball at the 20, let's say, or you have Peyton go on a 3 and out and get fantastic field position from the 50.
You want to bank on Peyton Manning and that Broncos offense scoring 40 a week to go 3 and out? You're just banking on it like that?
Here's what I'd rather. I'd rather the opportunity and take the risk of him going 3 and out or not getting that far than giving Matt Prater, the guy who saved Tim Tebow's ass constant times, the opportunity to kick in his favor, say a 60-yarder. He's hit 59-yarders with ease before. Now imagine he's kicking into he's kicking out of 20-mile-an-hour winds. He couldn't possibly hit a 70-yarder. This is the best kick. We don't mention this. This is by far the best kicker in football. Matt Prater is a god among men in this sport when it comes to that position. I'm not giving him a chance to hypothetically kick the ball 60 yards because I think he hits that with ease. I'd much rather give Peyton Manning the ball in this situation and just hope. No Sean was on his last leg still. I didn't trust that offense. Demaryius Thomas was dropping passes. Aqib Talib had him shut down. Eric Decker did nothing. Wes Welker was okay at best. They didn't have Julius Thomas. Peyton, I didn't trust Peyton a minute in that situation, and I thought it was genius that they would let him just go. And he did go 3, and I think got 1 first down and went out.
Okay.
Now, they didn't score till late, but nonetheless.
There's a lot of issues with the entire decision. First and foremost, you get the ball first, you score a touchdown, you win. That's simple.
They weren't scoring touchdowns, let's be honest.
Your offense scored 31 points in a half in this most recent half. Your offense is on fire. They're clicking on all cylinders. You have the option to take the ball, go down, score. Even if you get a field goal, you're on the upper hand.
The problem
you can get a touchdown.
The problem with that
do you really want to give Peyton Manning, guy that has had the best offense in the NFL up until this game, by far, best offense. Running game's working, passing game's working. Do you want to give that guy, of all quarterbacks in the NFL, do you want to give him a second chance? Do you want to dare him to go ahead and have a good drive? And it's not like you're saying, okay, Broncos, your running game's been terrible. Peyton Manning's on a bad ankle, bad weather conditions, I don't think he can do it. No, Sean Moreno ran for 170 yards after regulation. You were daring him to keep going. He had a fantastic game going into regulation and continued it.
Absolutely. No, I didn't. Here's the thing. I don't trust.
He had 170 at regulation, had 224 at the end.
Correct.
54 yards rushing in overtime.
Correct. Again.
Not even a full quarter.
I agree with that.
Where's the logic?
The logic is simple. No Sean was he was hurting. It was obvious. He was limping off.
224 yards.
You don't know that at that point. And Peyton didn't know. Peyton was not Peyton Manning. Let's be honest here. Let's be honest.
You know he had 170.
I know he had 170. I also know that he was limping at the end of the fourth quarter.
He was still running effectively even in overtime.
But you don't know that. Peyton is sitting there not being effective whatsoever. Peyton looked like Eli in this game. He wasn't playing well at all. He was missing receivers, completely overthrowing, underthrowing. And Demaryius Thomas couldn't catch the ball a lot in this game. I think he had 4 out of 9 targets. But nonetheless, I'd rather Go, give Peyton the ball, and guess what? They were right because Peyton got one touchdown, and then he was done. Got one first down, he was done. Peyton was not the same guy. I would have rather, we say Peyton Manning, he's the greatest regular season quarterback of all time, no question. But when we put him in the cold, he's been in really, really, really clutch situations. He's been good, but he hasn't been a god. I'd rather Tom Brady in the fourth quarter than Peyton. To this year,
statistics tell us actually that if you want anybody in the fourth quarter, I swear, it's Tony Romo.
I know. I'm fully aware of this. They said it on the broadcast. Troy Aikman said
like 105 passer rating in the fourth quarter.
Troy Aikman has said in the game, Tony Romo, this is the guy you want in the fourth quarter. And
laugh.
I laughed, and then he stated the numbers, and I was like,
and then your jaw drops.
No, and then they're laughing even harder because the numbers aren't indicative of anything because they don't mention the picks, the botched fumbles, the bad throws, the bad decision making. Numbers don't tell you everything. Up until this year, but going back to what we were talking about, up until this year excluded, I would rather have Eli in the fourth quarter than Peyton.
Yeah.
I don't think that's asinine whatsoever.
I understand that because Eli's got the track record, but the point is, I think Bill was overconfident, way too overconfident in his team. I think he was too overconfident in his defense. And not to mention, not only did he give Peyton Manning the ball willingly out of the start of overtime, there was 3rd and I believe inches on 3rd down for the Broncos in overtime. It was an incompletion, but a penalty on the Broncos. I think it was holding.
Yeah, and they ended up making
had the option to make it 4th down and get the punt.
No.
Most likely, we don't know. I think it was on the 40-yard line. We don't know if they.
I think it was 2nd down, and I think it was going to be. I think it was going to become 3rd and inches.
No,
you're positive.
Yeah, it was 3rd and inches. It was an incompletion, but holding. Bill Belichick decided to take the penalty and give Peyton Manning another shot on 3rd down. Then there was the incompletion on the lob down the left sideline.
Okay, yeah, I remember this now. So
see, even
they
had the option to make it 4th and inches. They possibly could have. They probably would have gone for it. We don't know that the Broncos would have gone for it. I think they were on either their own 40. They were within the 40s.
That's not smart
in the
decision.
I think they probably go for it, but still, you have the option to make it 4th down against Peyton Manning. Still, I don't care what the weather conditions are. Peyton Manning's Peyton Manning, and getting a touchdown on the opening drive wins the game. Bottom line.
The problem is Peyton Manning's Peyton Manning, and Peyton Manning in the cold is not the Peyton Manning that we know.
Well, we don't know how to measure that. Peyton Manning's been playing in the cold in Denver for a year and a half, and he's been fantastic.
And
we just don't know how to measure what exactly the cold is compared from there to.
You're talking about different altitudes. Yeah, it's a problem, but you're also considering the fact that you're gaining an advantage by putting Tom Brady towards the wind. You're gaining an advantage by having Brady get that extra zip on the ball. You're gaining the advantage by having Gostkowski have an extra 10 yards to his leg. You're getting an advantage.
I understand adding those 10 yards to his leg and taking away 10 yards from Prater, but the trade-off of giving the ball to Peyton Manning and daring him to go down and drive for a touchdown, the risk is too big. I still don't understand it.
Highly disagree, and it's very simple. Why? Because you don't want to give. If you're saying it's Peyton Manning, you don't want to give Peyton anything better than he can get. You don't want to give him the opportunity to be able to throw towards the wind and to give Prater that extra 10. You don't want to give him that. It's smarter in this situation to take the risk of him scoring a touchdown, which is minute, in comparison to the percentage that he would score had he got the ball back. It just comes down to that. You look at it logically. If we're looking at what gives the Patriots the best chance to win, you have a better chance with Peyton playing into the wind than Peyton playing against the wind. It's as simple as that.
But you have a better option to win if you have the ball than if you don't. That's as simple as it gets.
Well, yeah, but then you need to add in intangibles. Because what are the odds that you actually score the first time you have the ball? With a touchdown.
Pretty good
with a touchdown.
Pretty good considering you scored 31 points in the past 2 quarters.
suppose I agree with Belichick, and I definitely think it was arrogance, and I'm the first one to attack Bill Belichick. But I gotta disagree here. I thought it was very smart, and going down to the last play of the game, I mean, was it luck?
Okay, the play we're talking about is the punt by the Patriots to Wes Welker and the Broncos. Wes Welker calls for fair catch pretty late, and his teammate runs into the ball, doesn't see it coming.
And that's on Welker, in my opinion. He
It
needs
is
to make
on
that
Welker.
clear
Welker
early.
did not signal to his teammates, first and foremost, that he's not catching the ball, it's fair catch, just get out of the way of it. He was late on it, 100%. But at the same time, his teammates should have the awareness to not even be near Welker for when the punt comes down. Welker wasn't directly under it.
I mean,
he wasn't too far away.
in the formation that they were in, you needed to have guys block up there. Otherwise, Welker could have got rammed, lost the ball, and the game would have been over anyways.
But yeah, it at the end of the day, it's on Welker to alert his teammates, and that was just sheer bad luck. Heck, for all we know, the punt could have been altered so much by the wind that it was short, and Welker couldn't have noticed it until when it was getting close, and that's why he was late on it, and that's why it was botched.
718-997-3986, 718-997-3986. If you'd like to call in, check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/fifthcorner. When we come back, we'll hopefully do some NHL talk. Jeremy Tuck's going to join us, hopefully, on the line. Got any questions? You can also, again, send it to the Facebook page. Right now, we're talking about the war conditions of the NFL. Here is Sick Puppies with War.